What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're starting in on a new one today. This is an 8 acre. Just combing through it. Sold the gentleman 1 week, so we'll have the crew out here for a week, trimming up trees, looking for dead things here in the pine, aesthetics. But the bigger thing that we've got going on here is that he is a neighbor of a previous client of ours right next door. You might be able to see the white Dodge down there back that way. That gentleman has 10 acres. This guy, they share a fence line, has 8 acres. Both of them have given us permission to rotationally graze livestock here if we choose to. So I'm not set up quite yet to do this just yet. I'm like a newbie in this. But I thought that was interesting because there's really no excuse for, well, I can't produce food, or I can't do a farming operation, or I can't do whatever because I don't have land, right? Like you can do this without any land whatsoever. Both of these gentlemen are in their 70s. They've both owned these properties for over 20 years. They're both relatively tired of mowing it, particularly in the summertime. And they've also got, I'll show you guys down here at this pasture, you can kind of see all this white sand. They had horses here about a year ago, and so that was the last animal that was in here. Over there, they had 10 cows at one point in time. That was about 10 or 15 years ago. So both of these parcels now are just mowed via petroleum and tractors, and they're completely open for us to run animals on. So basically, rule of thumb, 1,000 pounds per acre, give or take. So we could do a decent amount of cows here. We could do a ton of chickens. Ideally, we'd want to do them behind each other. So we'd want the cows to come through. They're going to leave behind manure. About 3 days later, 3 to 4 days later, there'll be larvae and flies and things like that. That'll be attracted to that manure. Then we want the chickens to go in there, eat that larva and flies, get that protein, spread out that manure, continue munching down the grass. So the cows are taking it from 2 feet down to 6 inches or 8 inches. And then, the chickens are coming in there at 8, probably taking it down to 4 or 2, whatever it may be. 2 is probably a little bit too much. And then moving them onward onto the next one. And so we're regenerating the pasture as we go. But this is something that is is absolutely on my list for this year to get going. We've already been messing with the rotationally, rotating chickens around every single day. The egg quality is insane. Our customers that buy eggs from us are like, the eggs are unlike anything we can buy at the store. And it's like, well, it's because they're on grass. Like, the stuff at the store is in a cage, eating its own feces. Pretty disgusting. Eating some sort of mix of soy with LED lights on it 24/7. They don't even turn them off at night. Like, it's not a great environment. And then you're consuming that, so you're getting that energy, that vibration, like that. That's what's going into your body. Not ideal. If you can get eggs from someone who grows their own eggs, and what feed they use, and like their process, like it's just totally different. But this is an interesting property because we've got the ability here to have 18 acres between the two. Put cows, lambs, chickens, that whole thing on here. And what Kurt and I are working through now is trying to figure out what our infrastructure would look like. So how would we've already got the perimeter fence is on. That's why this is a possible land deal here for us, because they've already got perimeter fence, so we don't have any costs there. It's already cleared. And but at this point, it's like we can bring in value to these clients by saying, we'll take care of the grazing. We'll fix these bald spots here in the landscape will fix themselves once you start treating it like that. And it's just a win-win for everybody. And so I'm starting to think now about, like, okay, how many different parcels could I get? What would the mobile infrastructure look like? And what would the process be? Like, who would we have to hire? What would their daily route look like? And put me in a position where I'm going out and trying to acquire land leases or land deals. Ideally, we'll do these leases with an option to buy, like a first refusal. So being that both of these gentlemen are older, at some point in time, these properties will be for sale. I would like to be the gentleman or the company that stewards the land. We just take care of it. We'll mend the fences. We'll take care of what's going on in the exterior property. And in the event that you ever decide to sell the property, we'd like to have first refusal. We'd like to have the first option on it. But this is something that you can do anywhere. Greg Chudy's got a lot of stuff on this information on YouTube. Joel Salatin's got a lot of stuff out there. It comes down to an infrastructure game, and it's a mobile infrastructure game. So if we were ever to move animals from this piece of land to another lease, we could do that. And actually, when I say lease, I mean it's going to be, if we do these 2 pieces, it's going to be free. I mean, we'll probably just gift them meat and eggs. But immediately I'm starting to think through how and who we can supply. There's a great local grocer here that's just really just high-end stuff, and so we were talking to them about how could we work with them to get some of their old scraps from their meat division to feed the chickens, their old expired vegetables, old expired fruits, things like that, and then make it full circle to where we can bring our finished products, meat, eggs, etc., back into that store and then run it like that. But I think I'm just so unbelievably bullish on agriculture this decade and next. I mean, it's just, especially at that smaller level, that decentralized level where, we could have 18 acres right here. I'm in a neighborhood that's 2,400 acres total, 300 residences. Everyone here has 5 acres or more. I would imagine that probably half of the folks here would say, yeah, that'd be good with me. So there's I think 1,000 acres here available, where the only thing that's lacking is the management. And how would you do it? What would the infrastructure look like? Would we use mobile coops? Would we do 500 birds in a tractor? Would we do mobile netting? Would we just show up and pull? What would that daily grind and hustle look like to manage it? What would the watering situation look like? Like how would we be moving their water tubs mobily, like with minimal effort? And so this is something that Kurt and I have on the whiteboard on our rain days we work on, because he and I are both pretty passionate. He's my most passionate guy about food. He's jacked, he's ripped, and so he's like, yo, bro, a lot of this food out there is just poison. I'm like, I know. Like he's the one that's like taught me about seed oils a year ago, all that stuff, and it's blown my mind now that I've gone down the rabbit hole. But I want to put out to you guys that this is something that can absolutely occur. This is land that could be improved, that could be regenerated. This is something that you could do part-time. This is something you could do full-time, and this is something that hasn't been done yet. This has not been done. If there's a great book that I just got on order, I've read some clips from it. It's Thomas Jefferson's farm book, and I've read some clips about where he's frustrated with animal housing and like different things that they had going on there in the late 1780s about like how he was taking care of his animals. And like those problems now are solved because you can literally do mobile electric fences, put it on a solar panel. As far as getting water to them, super simple. We've got pumps, and they've got these really neat like quick attaches, kind of like for hydraulics, like on a Bobcat. You just plug in, plug out. You can move your stuff around. And so these things are just a happening thing. Hopefully this year we'll have something to show you. I think we're a month or 2 away from getting our first cattle. So we got some pigs coming here in a couple weeks. So we're going to use the pigs to start turning compost. This is another thing where I'm trying to get the tree guys involved with this, where they would contribute their chips for us, and that those chips would then give us a carbon unit where we get the tree guys involved in this tree to food process, and then ideally basically go from homeowners' trees to chips, which would be composted, which would then turn into food, and then into the grocery store. And maybe we could do something where we could build a network around it, where we get the tree guys and we're able to give gift certificates to those stores where that food is present, and they would then be able to pass that on to their customer. So the customer is contributing, to the entire process. It's starting with the customer, and it's actually going right back to that same consumer. So it's going from trees all the way back into a cycle into food, and that's something that I just really, really think that is the way to go moving forward here. I think it's such a win, and it's an inflation hedge. It's a things get weird hedge. It just makes a lot of sense to me. So I will have more on that for you guys in future videos. I'll catch you on the next one.